Hi, this is Zach Meir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Wednesday, the 19th of April. Starting off with the FTSE 100, which has retreated a little bit. I suppose it was getting a little bit tired after the journey up from the 7,200 area in the middle of last month. Probably want to see end of day close really through 79.30 to then give us the chance of an 8,000 plus target. We're looking for as high as 8,250 by the end of next month, especially while we stay above the 50-day moving average around 77.70. I think that would be a reasonable scenario. We had the rally back in October to February where the 50-day line came in as support after quite a journey. On to the DAX, and here we've enjoyed the market being above the old February-March resistance over recent days, and that continues. So basically above 15,700, looking for the top of that rising trend channel from the autumn as high as 16,500 by the end of next month. Maximum downside seen at the moment around the 50-day line, which is rising at 15,400. So looks pretty benign there on the DAX at the moment. Not overbought either, so the RSI in the low 60s, so that leaves gas in the tank for further potential gains. On to the Dow, and here it's all been about that line of resistance that we've had since this time last year, from which is now currently running at around 34,100. Want to see an end of day close above that to give us, or potentially unleash, a move to the upside as high as 36,500 by the end of next month. Otherwise, it will just dither and maybe have to see a repeat of the February-March decline back towards the 200-day line area, 32,400. Just depends how the earning season pans out. On to Bitcoin, and here we've had a situation where the market consolidating well around the 30,000 zone over the recent past. Obviously, trading either side of it at the moment, but 29,000, the old March peak, and that's sort of coming in as new support. While we're above that, still looking for 32,000, and then actually, if you look back, you can see that after 32,000 on the chart, we don't really have much more in the way, but than 38,000 to 39,000. So that is a nice scenario if we can get it. Otherwise, below 29,000, which obviously there is a chance of at the moment, we'd be looking at the 50-day line, currently around 26,600, and that was late March support as well. On to the stocks, and lots of stocks which have been on the back foot, starting to rally, which is encouraging. You can almost say bull market type situation. Emerson is the first one today, so vertical move over the recent past. Broke that line of resistance there from December, and the 50-day line beginning of the week around 4.6 pence. We were looking for an initial target there at 5.5 pence, which hoping to be hit over the next day or two, maybe by the end of the week. We've got the 200-day line there at 5.6 pence. So ideal scenario is a weekly close above the 200-day line, and then by the end of next month or sooner up to the top of that broadening triangle from September as high as 7 pence. I think holders would be happy with that. Stock which keeps on rising over the near term is Genflow Biosciences. We hit our first target, which was around 4.6 pence, and today I think with the news of the OTCQB listing, the shares have gone further. This sort of stock more appreciated stateside than it is here. We've got a new target here up to 7.5 pence, which is a May resistance line projection from last year. Hope to hit that by the end of next month. The way things are going, it could be by the end of this month, while we remain above 4.5 pence. The other point to note here, apart from the fact that we're very overbought, is the way that we've got both rising 50 and 200-day moving averages. It's the run up to a golden cross, and that tends to be the strongest part of the cycle, and that's certainly happening here at the moment. Moving along to Hummingbird Resources, and update from the company today. That's allowing the shares to extend recent gains. They were nearly doubled off the recent lows. Looking for 15 pence initially here, hopefully by the end of the month. And then after that, probably one can upgrade the scenario here. So looking for up towards 24 pence, which is the upper parallel of the October rising trend channel. So 24 pence maybe over the next 1 to 2 months. So maybe by perhaps by the end of May if we keep the current momentum. Speaking of momentum, there seems to be new momentum at Hvivo. I think we're in the run-up to their results on the 25th of April, if I remember correctly. Here we've broken a line of resistance from February. That was around 16 pence. Above that, we're looking for progress within a rising trend channel from November as high as 26 pence over the next 1 to 2 months. If you're cautious, maybe you wait for an end-of-day close for the shares above the 50-day moving average at 17 pence, but it looks as though we are on our way, especially with that bounce off RSI 50, which is normally a good continuation signal or a recovery signal there for a stock or market. On to Kistos, which is rather bigger than most of the stocks we look at here, but had a decent gap higher today through neckline resistance around £3.10, and above that we're looking for the top of a broadening triangle from the end of February as high as £3.65 over the next 2 to 4 weeks. This stage only really an end of day close back below 310, delaying the recovery scenario. Very encouraging that we've gapped up there today. On to Mirriad advertising, which I see that some people have already made money on from the lows, but for those who are still interested, we've got bullish divergence here. We've gapped up as well. So an end of day close back above the initial April support there at 1.4 pence could take the shares up to around the 2.5 to 3 pence level is the best case scenario by the end of next month. The reason for the relative optimism here, even though we've already bounced, is the bullish divergence. So that's quite a sharp bullish divergence, much lower low there for April, but much higher RSI trace. So that could mean that there's a bit of momentum still to come for Mirriad. On to another stock which has been in the wars, but maybe trying to get out of it. Shares have mowed up 30% today. We've broken above the 50-day moving average around the 0.7 pence level for the first time in 2-3 months, 3 or 4 months in fact. And also what's interesting is that the 50-day line has started to rise. That gives us the hope that the shares could head up to the 1 pence area at the top of that rising trend channel from the end of January. Moving on to another stock which is trying to get its act together. Here we've got Pelatro, and here another stock which is breaking through its 50-day moving average. In this case, that's around 5.25 pence. Above that, we're looking for the top of a rising trend channel from January as high as 8 pence by the end of next month. And probably worth sticking with that while we remain above the 50-day line. So that's probably the sort of the end-of-day close stop loss. Onto a stock which looks like it's fourth time lucky for the rebound from 20 pence. Rather frustrating over the recent past, but a proper move today through the 200-day moving average, which is rising. That's a positive. That does suggest that while we're above that at 10 pence, we could hit that January resistance line at 14 pence over the next 2 to 4 weeks. A nice W-shaped reversal as well. Bear trap W-shape there from below 7.5 pence. And an RSI support line to back the move as well. Moving on to a stock which is also stretching ahead. We've had a few placings here. Hopefully there won't be any more for a little while. We've got Predator there at the top of that rising trend channel from back in January. Above 10 pence, if we can get to that, then there could be a new leg higher up to 14 pence and a November resistance line projection. That could happen as soon as the end of next month after the gap close buy signal that we had earlier this month, in fact just in the last week, and momentum could start to accelerate, ideally with no more placings obviously. Moving on to a new situation, Pennpetro, which finally starting to move now. Obviously the chart, not much to go on there, but we do have bullish divergence here. We have had that, actually I did spot that last week. What we'd like to see now is an end of day close above the bottom of that gap there at 3.65 pence. Above that we could head up to as high as 5 pence by the end of next month. The stop loss there I suppose just below the 3 pence level, but it'd be interesting to see whether the bullish divergence turns Pennpetro around. Just a couple of stocks to go now. One is a requested stock, and here with Versarien we also have bullish divergence, which always gives a bit of comfort in a situation where you sort of feel like you're trying to catch a falling knife. So bullish divergence there, lower lows for March and April, but higher RSI trace, quite a significant one as well. And the view now is that the longer we stay above 2.5 pence, the greater the chance of a retest of the March resistance just around the 5 pence zone, which will also be level with the 50-day moving average. If you're cautious, you might wait for an end-of-day close for the RSI above neutral 50. It's around the low 40s at the moment, but it looks as though enough work has been done there in terms of at least delivering an intermediate rally on Versarien. Finishing off with another stock which has been beaten up of late, but has bounced back quite well. I notice the bears are quite quiet on this one now. Here we've got a V-shaped bull flag, or U-shaped bull flag breakout. End of day close above the March peak at 1.45. We could be heading to 2.4 pence or 2.5 pence by the end of next month. Nice push through that 200-day line as well, which really helps these kinds of situations. Rally started with that bear trap rebound and the bullish divergence in the RSI window last month, and I suppose we've tripled since then, so that has worked well. That's it from me today. More updates tomorrow.